what people think whenever it comes to, hey, I struggle with this. Hey, I'm stuck in a plateau. Hey, I have a lot of belly fat. Hey, I cannot lose this weight. Hey, I cannot get stronger in the gym. The others are very quick to think of what kind of diet, what kind of supplements, what kind of modification I could make to my workout program, to my lifestyle, to my sleep, whatever. But I like to look at those things as pretty much a message that your body's hormonal health is trying to send you. For example, let's look at one of my favorite hormone, which basically is my favorite because I believe it's one of those hormones that have so much impact and influence on our day-to-day behavior and pretty much our health overall, mostly in terms of weight loss. It's a hormone that's called cortisol. Cortisol, to make it really simple, is a hormone of stress. It's a hormone that allows us, by the way, to power through stress, to react to any sort of stressful situation, a stressful to cope with stressful environment, stressful phases, and to pretty much allow us to have somewhat of a baseline kind of capacity and to keep us to avoid us from dying. Basically, like the easiest explanation that I have for cortisol is, if me right here right now speaking to this camera, there's a spider that falls down from the roof, from the from up there, then the only thing that I can rely on and that could allow me to run really quick, to run away, because I'm shit scared of spiders and all of those things, is cortisol. The only thing that allows you to wake up in the morning is cortisol. When it's all black, dark in your room, and that light starts to come out, cortisol is pretty much the thing that your body starts to produce when there is bright light outside, and it helps you wake up. So cortisol, in a sense, is a very good hormone. But there are many ways in which cortisol manifests in our day-to-day lives. And if you follow my channel, if you are someone who already is familiar with what I usually speak about, I usually speak about how to manage stress. I coach busy people who always have lots on their plate. So what happens is that at least one out of, let's say, two or three people have chronically high levels of cortisol. What cortisol does, it gets your body into a state of survival. The other analogy that I like to have here is, imagine you are in a jungle being chased by a lion. The only thing that you are going to think of is to try to survive and to save yourself, because that lion is hungry. It's not going to give up unless it catches you. All right. And so what you are going to be doing is to run, run, run. The last thing that you are going to be thinking of is to sit down, to rest, and to pretty much sleep. And so that means that right there, the analogy is kind of similar to the representation of our lives in general. I mean, the life of most people. If you are one of those people who are fortunate enough to wake up and to not have any sort of worries at all, then I want to be friends with you. I want to learn some lessons. Like, how do you do it? But if you are the type of person whom from the morning, like myself, for example, from the morning you are on the go, you're thinking, you're moving, solving problems, putting out fire, then you are going to have the same scenario as the person who is consistently being chased by a lion. Okay, your body is never going to go from this state of fight or flight to go into a state of rest and digest. And then what happens when we start and when we stay into the state of fight or flight is, again, the body gets into survival mode, because your body is thinking, hey, this guy is going to keep running away from the lion, so I need to help him. I need to, whenever this guy rests, I'm going to have to tell him to eat more so that he can save and get in as much resources as possible to give me energy to keep running and to run away to save my life from the lion. This is why when you are chronically stressed, when you are someone who always have lots of challenges and who is putting out fire every day of your life, then there's also some sort of distorted and tricky relationship with food, such as craving for sugar, craving for junk, no motivation to eat the right things for yourself. You have this kind of way of approaching food as if it was a reward, comfort, and emotional safety, rather than fuel rather than the thing that is supposed to help you perform, which means that instead of now being in the mood to eat chicken breast, rice, and broccoli, now you're going to prefer to go for pizza or pasta or cookie or ice cream because it has that exciting taste. So next time you speak about, hey, I have cravings, I have a lack of discipline, usually it's not lack of discipline that causes that, but it's something way much more deeper, deep to the level of your cortisol level. Possibly you have very high levels of cortisol. By the way, the other thing that cortisol does too is to, because going back to what I said, your body is gonna force you to eat a lot of additional food so it can use it and deploy against whatever kind of danger you are facing. And what it does too, by the way, as soon as you get that food in, and when there's so much, when it feels like you have been eating additional food, then it's gonna store that food as body fat and as belly fat. Mostly the belly is that part of your body that becomes super, super sensitive when it is being mobilized and activated by the stress neurons that are in there. So that's why sometimes you could have an okay looking body, you are not necessarily overweight or super big, but your belly just comes out and it's super thick. Have something to do with genetics for sure. Genetics is never to be excluded, but that's not the entire equation. Sometimes it can have something to do with alcohol too, habits, sleep, but most of the time, and also one something that I see with my clients is that it happens because of stress. Okay, so now, think of all the struggles, all of the worries, and all of the issues that you have in terms of well being, health, performance, focus, sleep, libido, digestion. All of that is correlated to stress. So, the real way for you to approach all of those deep things that you are currently struggling with and that you have probably been struggling with for a long period of time now is not necessarily, hey, what supplements can I eat to clean my gut? It's not necessarily, hey, what kind of intermittent fasting protocol should I follow in order to reset my body, my clock? It's not necessarily that, but it's mostly, hey, what can I do to send safety signals to your body? A body that shows you weird, unusual, pain, uncomfortable, compromised, and inflamed signs outside, anything that you see and that you're not happy with on your body are usually the sign and the messages that something is not in balance. Things are out of balance inside. Which brings us to the next hormone, because the other thing that cortisol does too is it slows down the production of testosterone. What is testosterone? It's the hormone of life. It's the hormone that is both very useful, very important for women, and also very useful and very important for men. When you have testosterone, you have drive. You are the man, basically, or the woman. You have motivation, you have energy. Your body pretty much is always in the mood to burn calories, to burn and to utilize body fat and to not retain anything. Your body feels safe. You are in the mood to, push at the gym. That sense of drive, motivation, that's where motivation comes from, is because of testosterone. But what happens is we live a very fast-paced lifestyle. You put out fire on a day-to-day basis. You deal with people who are not necessarily good for your mental health. You do a job that probably does not fulfill you as much anymore. Cortisol gets up. In addition to that, you have habits that don't serve you necessarily, including eating junk, including overdosing on caffeine, including doom scrolling at night instead of sleeping, which also contributes to an additional increase of cortisol, which then cortisol, again, because of the whole reaction survival kind of mechanism, is gonna say, hey, we are going through a lot. This is a dangerous phase. I don't want us to think of burning fat, burning calories, or being motivated or being driven to do anything else or to think of anything else. I'm gonna tone all of that down so that we can survive. That's why testosterone go down. So again, you think you lack of motivation, you think you lack of energy, you think you lack of the spark, you lack of self-care, you lack of stress management, you lack of recovery. Again, basically what we are seeing here and what we are learning here is that most of the issues that you are currently going through can be addressed by better recovery. That's where it all comes from. It's actually crazy that I speak about this because we definitely live in a world now where recovery is weird. We live in a world where not drinking alcoholic beverages when you go out is lame. You get called boring when you don't drink the drink. You get called boring when you don't have the extra slice of pizza. I do understand where it comes from, like the social purpose from where it comes from, but I still think it's crazy how staying at your house, not doing anything, going to bed on a Saturday night at 9 p.m. is so overrated, no, underrated nowadays. This we just live in this go world, which we don't realize have all of this impact on our well-being. Last hormone that I'm gonna speak about before we leave is still connected to all of those two that I spoke about earlier. Okay, so again, now we know that cortisol is up, which is gonna already mess up a lot of things, um, including testosterone, which is gonna mess up way much more things. All right, the combination of these two usually is going to create some form of sleep disruption, or again, because of the fact that your body is in a consistent survival state, it is going to increase the hormone that is called ghrelin. What is ghrelin? It's the hormone that tells you when it is time to eat, basically. When you are underslept, when you are consistently eating junk, sugary stuff, exciting stuff, when you don't have a strong motivation, strong determination, strong energy, what is your body gonna do? It's gonna say, hey, I need something to get this person going. It seems like nothing is working here. I need to power the machine so at least I can have some form of additional intake of energy. Let me raise my ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that tells you to eat. So whenever you find yourself eating a lot, is a result of that hormone right there. It's because your body, some way, somehow, for some reason, has decided, hey, I am not feeling like I'm being fed enough for everything that I'm going through. That's really where hunger comes from. Like, from in general, hunger comes from the fact that your body feels like it is doing a certain level of activity or handling a certain amount of load, either that is stress, either that is, state of mind, environment, whatever, and your body feels like for whatever is it currently has to process and has to handle, it is not being fed enough or has not been fed enough. That's what hunger is. So ghrelin goes up, the hormone of hunger goes up because, again, your body is a survival mechanism that does not want you to die. So that's why it raises your hunger up. That's why you have cravings for whatever reason. So again, guys, real quick talk here, top of mind again, just like the usual, but stop looking at your health issues as if it was something that needed another magical hack. Stop looking at your weight loss struggles as something that needs another magic trick. This is not some Harry Potter shit, right? You don't need another special juice cleanse. You don't need more motivation. You cannot wake up. Like, the thing of motivation or discipline is, if you did not have it, then you cannot cultivate it and start having it again from one day to the next one. Motivation, discipline, extra energy, extra drive is something that you need to load up. You don't load it up by shouting affirmation in front of the mirror. You don't load it up by yelling, hey, New Year's resolution, I'm the most motivated and disciplined person ever. You don't load it up like that. You load it up by going all the way to the root cause of why you don't have motivation, which is correlated with a testosterone profile that is not optimal because of the fact that the cortisol profile is up and down and disrupted because of the fact that you go through a lot and you don't take care of yourself, you don't recover well, your body goes through a lot of stress, your body copes and adapts towards all the stressors of your life. So the real reason why you're stuck in many ways, shape or form, and in many areas of your health is because there are a lot of things that your body is not liking, and due to that, hormonal profile goes down. Okay. On the topic of hormonal profile, guys, I'll actually do a webinar next week, a live course. If you wanna join, if you wanna hop on. Sorry, I'm gonna speak about all those hormones that I mentioned today. I'm gonna speak about ghrelin, testosterone, cortisol, insulin as well. Is something that I did not address today, but very, very big, very important hormone. It's the hormone of fat storage too. Next week, Wednesday evening, that's when it is gonna happen. If you wanna join, write in the messages or find me on WeChat. I think that's gonna be quicker. Find me on WeChat. My WeChat ID is nfchristian. nfchristian, no capital letters, everything is small. nfchristian, that's my WeChat ID. write and send me a message on WeChat. Send me live, and I will know why you're reaching out to me, and I'll directly register you to the upcoming webinar. See you soon.